Oh man. This has been the most painful experience that I've had since the last time there was a Final Fantasy XIV expansion. Well, I mean, aside from like real life tragedies, obviously. I haven't been hurt this bad since the last time Square Enix hurt me this bad. But they never hurt me as bad as they did this time. I never cried. Better than Shadowbringers? Are you kidding me? Yes. It is actually better. It actually, as amazing as Shadowbringers was, it topped it. It actually topped it. It's like, maybe we can judge a Final Fantasy XIV expansion in terms of time spent crying. How much time did I spend crying continuously? And I think that I was crying for, I must have been crying for like 5-6 hours, maybe more, without stopping. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. I cried so much. I literally ran out of tissues and I had to go and find a handkerchief specifically for my tears. And I was like, well, I guess I'll use the paper towel for blowing my nose and I'll use this one for drying my tears. I can just teleport to Elpis right now. We can just go there right now. But Elpis isn't the same without our friends in it. Without Ithildaeus and Emmett Salk. In all seriousness, I couldn't have asked for a better ending to this journey. The Hydaelyn Zodiark saga. Could they have given Hydaelyn a more beautiful send-off than what she got? Also, bunny boys and mood bunnies have been added to help ease the suffering and pain that caused by the main story. Some of the most spectacular zones I have ever seen in any game. And not just one, but so many. This one, obviously, I go on and on about it, and I'm never going to shut up about it. The Ultima Thule. I really, I was absolutely blown away by it. All the trials, incredible. All the dungeons, incredible. And just playing Reaper has been incredible too. I'm gonna have to spend some time collecting all my thoughts about everything that happened, the high points and the low points. But I can say, like, I never experienced any form of media, any movie, any book, anything that affected me emotionally as much as this game has been able to. And Shadowbringers, I thought, was like the limit. Like, was like they had achieved the best storytelling that was possible. But Endwalker makes Shadowbringers look like child's play. Endwalker makes the problems we faced in Shadowbringers look like not problems. And an expansion about holding fast to hope in the face of despair, and to teach you that literally forces you to experience despair, forces you to hold on to hope, and have that visceral experience for yourself. There were so many times where it just feels like this doom is inevitable. My friends have sacrificed themselves. We've given all we can. We've suffered enough. We've suffered too much. And yet, we continue on. And all the references to, like, I think it was really beautiful, all the usage of the bird metaphor. It's like similar to the angel's metaphor, losing your wings being a big theme here. That's been expressed with Meteon, the siren, basically from the edge of the universe. And it's a metaphor for, I think the way that we're meant to appreciate it is abandoning the pursuit of paradise, the pursuit of some ideal where there's no suffering, because it is our suffering that gives us the strength and the passion to keep on living each day. Because they showed, you know, these dungeons where there were worlds where they had achieved perfection, had eliminated all suffering, and they had lost their will to live because there was just nothing left. There's nothing left to do. There's nowhere to go. There's no way forward when all solutions have been reached. So, damn, I'm thinking about that cutscene with Heidelin where she trudges on through the millennia, knowing full well what is awaiting her at the end of her journey. And with every rejoining, she like suffers another blow. She's bleeding out, but just keeps on walking. No more will mankind have wings to carry them to the heavens. From now on, they will walk. And that's really what it's all about. It's really touching. And I think a very important message. I'm really tired. And I will tell you, like, I'm emotionally exhausted. Like, there were some stretches here, especially like the final stretch, where it was just a constant barrage of like twisting the knife and twisting the knife and twisting the knife. And it's meant to be like that. Like, it's meant to fill you with like despair and sorrow because you have so much love for your companions, so much love for this journey. And it's really bittersweet. They did a perfect job of like feeling like they wrapped up all these different loose ends. And I honestly feel some concern. I feel some worry because I don't know how they're possibly going to top this. Like, I don't know how they're possibly going to make an expansion that's better. But then, yeah, I said that after Shadowbringers, and they did it, but they had the benefit of this being the finale of the Heidelin Zodiac arc. I mean, so Endwalker, of course, was going to be... Like, they had a lot to draw on. They had a lot of build-up already. So I continue to be... Well, we'll see throughout this expansion. We'll see how it goes. Because the new story arc will begin 6.1. And we're going to see where they plan to go with it. Now, usually, the very end of the main story quest will give you some hints as to where we're going to go with the story going forward. And so that's why the end of this main story quest, aside from actually giving me hope, making me excited about like basically thinking of things that should should carry forward from the previous arc. I think Asm, your identity as Asm is really important to that. Because, first of all, practical reasons. If you're lost somewhere where it's only you, it sure is helpful to have that the stone as like a plot device where you can summon other people to join your party. Like, I think that's a very clever plot device. And so there's that. Secondly, you are Asm. Like, that is you are the traveler. You have an identity. You aren't a faceless adventurer. So I think that is something that they should continue to incorporate. I thought it was interesting that Meteon left it a little bit uncertain whether we might see, she might be able to convey this message of hope to Hermes at the end. And she was like, well, anything can happen. As long as they keep these same people working on the story, it's going to be okay. It's funny too, because like thinking about Hydaelyn and what happened to Hydaelyn, going into that fight, you heard me say, I'm pretty sure we're going to lose Hydaelyn. Like, Hydaelyn's on her last legs. There's no way she's going to survive this. And through the whole fight, I'm thinking, this is it. She's dead. She's gone. Or, like, getting evaporated or whatever. I'm like, this is it. And I had felt like I had fully prepared myself for that. And I also felt like I was not going to be too sad about that either. But then we have the cutscene. And I don't know how they do it. But Hydaelyn starts talking about how much she loves you and how much she loved this world. And then the music starts playing, the Endwalker music, and you remember everything that she sacrificed and all the plans that she made just to see that the people and the star that she loved would endure. And to be there with her in those last moments, it really felt like losing a loved one there. Because she was there at the very beginning of your journey. In a way, she's part of who you are. She's part of your identity. You are the warrior of light. You are Hydaelyn's chosen. So without her, it really felt like part of me had gone away too. And God, that was, I think for me, there had been some painful points in the story before that, some very emotional points. But for me, I think that was the beginning of the super painful zone. That was where, like, the real suffering and agony began. It started there. That's when they really got that knife in me. And then for the rest of the story, it was just like getting it deeper and deeper, and like twisting it and twisting it. And I loved it though. I mean, it was fairly brutal at times, emotionally brutal to endure. Even the end, because it's like, at the end, I think it's supposed to be a moment where you feel good, you feel happy, you've defeated the bad, and everything's good, everybody's happy, like, glad that you're okay, and then telling you about all their future plans. And I feel like that was supposed to be a good moment, but I'm sitting there crying through all of it. Like when Thancred said, are you glad you joined the Scions? And I think back to when I joined the Scions 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I had no idea how much this game would change my life. I joined the Scions when I still had a garrison in Warlords of Draenor. And I remember joining the Scions. I remember that day. And by that point, I was already pretty invested in the story. I was pretty excited about it. And I remember feeling like, wow, this game was really awesome. This game made me feel like I'm really important. I get to join all these cool people. And I feel like they're my friends.
So the disbandment of the Scions was really tough. As happy as I am to see them all go their separate ways. Maybe that's the reason why I long for a return to Elpis. Because it feels like those people are family as well. Those are people that know your character. Those are people that are aware of you as him. And I don't know. I guess it's easier to imagine returning there than wandering aimlessly, you know, just like being an adventurer again. It feels like you can't return to that. We've been through too much to just return to whatever the hell we were doing before we joined the Scions, which was what, like going to the Adventurers Guild? Like killing 5 ladybugs? We're way past that now. So to me, I don't know. Elpis is the only way forward. I mean, back. Backward. God, I'm remembering. There's so many beautiful moments that I'll never forget in this expansion. The one where you summon Hythlodaeus and Emet-Selch to your side. They're there. And as soon as I heard their voices, I immediately, like, I was sobbing uncontrollably. If you were watching, I was just like literally shaking. Like I was just, I think that for me, it was a really big moment because for so long, I had been really upset about the fate of their souls. I had been really upset about what I thought had happened to Hythlodaeus. And so to see that they were able to be called out, I didn't want to believe that they could stay. I still want to believe that, like, we can get them back out. They're still out there in the live stream. But it was a really beautiful moment, having the flowers grow. And then she remembers the words of Hermes when he said he would bring back a beautiful flower for her. And then, like I said, a relentless story. It's like you just go through that, and I'm sobbing uncontrollably. Like I'm seeing the flowers, and I'm like losing my mind. And then immediately after, you have to walk, like, you walk up this bridge built by the twins, hearing the voices, all these familiar voices along the way. God, I was just sobbing the whole time, just constant. It felt a lot like at the end of Nier. Like, I'm not gonna spoil Nier for people who haven't done Nier Automata, but if you played Nier Automata, there's a moment at the end that if you played it, you know what I'm talking about, where you feel hope. You feel like you can do this, and that's. I never thought another game would make me feel that. Also, and you know what else made me feel that way? Doing the trials, open up the party finder, and all buns immediately joined the party to help me with a trial that felt a lot like that too. God. This game cut me deep. But only because of that little last tiny part at the very end of the main story, do I feel like not completely, like, I feel like there's a little bit of is hope the right word? Maybe. Xenos was a B plot, and I'm okay with that. True. Yeah, I'm okay with the fact that he ended up not being like the main villain. And he served a good purpose in this story. Like, what he represented in the story was relevant to what we were going through. This scene where you wake up in a different body and you fight your way out of Garlemald. Like, I think that was, or one of the, like, all the little, like, solo duties that you had here were great. They were all really unique and fun. But that was a very interesting moment. And I don't think that would have been possible if Xenos wasn't the way he was. And I also think, like, the way Garlemald ended up being destroyed, it was very cool. Okay, like, as awful as it was, like, visually, it looked extremely cool. And I don't think we would have been able to delve into, like, the horror aesthetic with dungeons and things as much had Xenos not been the way he is. So, like, I kind of understand now better the reasoning they had for why they chose to make him that way. I just feel like after an expansion like this, where we went in the beautiful ancient past and we went to the edge of the universe, like, where can we go that's better than that? Where can we go that's cooler than that? The South Seas? Can you imagine having a South Seas expansion after we just went to the edge of the universe? It was so cool. It would look like retro sci-fi novel cover everywhere you look. Amazing, astounding, incredible. Never seen anything like that before. And then we have an ordinary, like, oh, here's a new continent expansion. You know, it's like even the game, like us, the Warrior of Light, has outgrown its humble beginnings. And though it needs a new start, I agree, the Heidelin Zodiac arc needed to come to a close. There needs to be something really good to get us all hooked in and invested in a new 10-year storyline. Okay? It's not World of Warcraft where we can just have a new expansion where it's, oh, we found a new continent, new expansion every time. It's not like that. We need to have a new story arc that makes us all really, really care about what's going on. And that's going to be very difficult, I imagine. God, I cried so much today. I cried today more. I can't remember the last time I cried so much. Like, for so long. And, like, every time that I felt like I was done crying, there was another thing that just kept it going, kept it going, kept it going. Even to the very, very end, the end credits. I can't help but feel really sad. I'm sure a lot of people will share that sentiment right now. With the disbanding of Scions. Feeling a lot of uncertainty about the new arc. Feeling a lot of questions about what waits us ahead. And I just hope that it will continue to be as enjoyable as it's been. We gotta have hope that it will be. We gotta have, like, the hope to walk forward. That's what this story was all about. And it's a good message to keep in our hearts as we move forward. So, what a ride. I've been having 12-hour streams, like, every day. I literally start streaming as soon as I'm able. And I have not stopped streaming until it's time for me to go to sleep. That's been every single day since Endwalker launched. It's been amazing. I've loved every minute of it. And I can't thank y'all enough for spending all this time with me. Some of you who have actually been here since the very beginning. It's pretty awesome. I really appreciate y'all being along, going along with the ride, going along for the ride with me. Even though there were a lot of times when I couldn't even look at chat. You were still there, cheering me on in the chat. And you were there the minute I needed you, in a trial, in a dungeon, immediately there for me. And you're here for me now as I'm crying, like, crying and upset about the ending, but also happy about the ending. You know, just feeling a lot of mixed emotions. They're all around y'all here. And that means more to me than words can say.